Hi everyone, we are trying to go live on a couple of platforms right now. All right, looks like we are live. Hello everyone, this is Harleen Bagga. I'm coming to you live from Soul Therapy. Soul Therapy is an emotional and wellness center. I am a multidisciplinary psychotherapist, a positive psychologist. I am your relationship and success coach. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of questions that I have received from you, the community. Every Thursday is when Soul Therapy goes live to answer your questions, questions that matter to you about your life and about your context. To begin with, I am actually very, very excited to share with you my latest video that just got published. It's about belief system and restricting beliefs. Do check it out. I would encourage you to definitely check it out because it talks about a solution that you could do sitting at home to take care of your limiting beliefs if they are and can be managed at home. The first question that I have for today is very interesting. I actually have the good thing is I have bigger questions this time with more details. So it is good to know that the community is listening to me and responding to me with details, which really helps me and help you better. First question is by Anonymous. She says, we are doing it more often given we are at home. But to me, it's becoming more like a reflex action. I feel like we are doing it out of boredom. It's not fun anymore. What do you suggest? Hi. Thank you so much for writing in. I completely appreciate the effort and the thought behind you even writing in and the courage it has taken to get you in touch with me. So, to begin with, thank you very much. And yes, your anonymity is maintained and well taken care of. Uh, my answer to your question will be multi layered because I really don't know any more details. I am going with what you have provided me. See, the first thing that stands out to me in your question is I feel like we are doing it out of boredom. I will begin with giving you a little bit of context. Uh, when you are intimate, right? Now, intimacy in a very philosophical mode or a very romantic mode can be viewed in two perspectives, in my opinion. And I'm doing this just to make things easier for you, which is what can be done in an online session since it's not private and it's not personal. My job here is to make this as colloquial as possible and break it up into easy nuggets that you can assimilate and take out of. This is not a customized solution. So if you feel that there is information that is missing and that you need to reach out to me, go ahead and do that. So, coming back, intimacy can be viewed in two tangents, my friend. One is just the act of doing it, right? So let's call it just having sex. The second is making love. The end result of both is and can be the same. But in your case, right, you say you are not enjoying it anymore. That is the first clue that you have given me. The second clue is it is becoming more like a reflex action, which means that uh, you are going with it, you are going through with it, but you are not stopping and pausing to actually understand your journey or understand the act in a way that it is giving you pleasure. The third thing that I want to tell you is that you are not putting in as much of emotions in this act. The short answer to your question is this. See, key to life is balance. Okay, which means that excess of anything at any point makes anything that you're doing mundane or monotonous. So in this case, what I'm going to tell you is that um, there is something in your ecosystem, which I mean internal ecosystem, sweetie, which is troubling you, which is not allowing you to enjoy this intimacy with your partner. So, first, we have to understand what is it that is causing you to doubt or question your intimacy, or to not enjoy that intimacy that you want to have. Second, uh, the fact that you are doing it so often means that it is being initiated. That means, and I am assuming here for lack of anything else, that your partner perhaps is initiating it since you are the one who's writing for me, which means that at some level, maybe he has a need or he is getting out of it what maybe you're not getting out of it. If that is the case, then we have to understand and figure out what is it that is troubling you. Third, is it the fact uh, that it is in excess is what is harming you? If the fact that it is over the top is what is harming you, or is there really some kind of an emotional underlying layer that is uh, that is really inhibiting you to feel pleasure and to feel good about being intimate? So I think, and from what I am picking up, it seems to me that there are some underlying layers of emotional well being right here, which I think needs to be addressed. To begin with, my solution to you would be this: if you can, give a break to the entire act of being intimate. That will help you breathe. It will help you bring mindfulness into the act when you're doing it the next time. And it will prevent it from being a kind of a reflex action, which is one of your issues. See if that helps. Second, understand and ask yourself, what is it about your partner that is irritating you? What is it about your partner that is making you intolerable or impatient? The reason I'm saying that, even though because you have not told me this, is because there is some irritation with your partner, which is why you yourself are not permitting yourself to enjoy and go with the flow, and which is why you have written to me. That is not the case with your partner, my friend. That irritation value is within you. So it is very, very important that you address it, and you address it by having a conversation. First, introspect within you. What is the issue? Try and ask yourself, why am I irritable, and how can I fix it? And then talk to your partner, give yourself some distance. And once you are mentally and emotionally in a stable state, uh, I don't think then at that point you would, then this would become pleasurable once again, and you would be in a much happier place, is what I am hoping. So if this works for you, it is great. If there is something else, like I said, I'm detecting a little bit of emotional imbalance there. If that is the case, go out and reach to me, and we can take this discussion offline. My next question is also one of a romantic relationship. She says, my boyfriend and I have had several fights over the lockdown. We are very different people, but are emotionally very connected. Given the restriction, our differences are becoming more apparent. Practically, I have to touch this. Okay, practically, the best thing to do is to end it. I've tried it twice, but emotions get the better of us. We've had another big fight. He just doesn't get me. Why is this so hard? By Priti. Hi, Preeti. Thank you so much for writing in. I completely appreciate you taking the time and writing in. It gives me utmost pleasure to see when people around me, when someone in the community is actually taking courage and seeking professional help where it can actually help and benefit them in a way that is most appropriate for them. So, I am again detecting several layers here. Okay, Preeti. First thing first. First, let me start by giving you a context. Given where we are, right? When you are in a relationship where you're not husband wife, right? Where you're just meeting, where your relationship is mostly of going in and out and meeting each other in and out. The fact that with the restriction in place, with the lockdown in place, the fact that you are not meeting that person is working against, in a way, against your relationship. Let me explain to you how. And I will also then tell you why that is important. See, when we meet people, right, when you are in touch with a person, you have already mentioned in your question that you are very emotionally connected, which is fantastic. But when you meet that person on and off, you also become physically and mentally connected, which means that when y'all are together, there is oxytocin being released. And when you guys leave each other, there is that feeling of want for each other that is produced in the body, and that is oxytocin doing its magic. So, in this scenario where there is a lockdown in place, where you guys are not able to meet each other, what is happening is that those hormones are not being produced. Those hormones are not being a part of your system right now. Hey, hi, Bajpai. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate you reaching out. So we're talking about we're addressing questions about that the community has sent in, and that is the answer that I was giving. Just to quickly bring you up to speed. So coming back, Preeti, to what you asked me, that that's first things first, right? Which is giving you the context. So it is quite possible that there is a level of frustration, there is a level of annoyance in the relationship because of lack of physical proximity. And when the lack of physical proximity also leads to maybe a mental disturbance, mental intolerance, a sort of frustration in your basic system. Now, given that is the mindset, given that is what your body is experiencing, you everyone is going to be more irritable, right? What's going to happen is that every small thing is going to be blown out of proportion. It is very important that when I give you an answer, I give you an answer keeping the entire ecosystem in mind. I cannot isolate what you're telling me. So, my job is to give you a holistic view and to give you enough information for you to think about what you need to do. So, keep in mind that this is the norm and that really everyone is irritable. Now, coming back to the specificity of your question, right? That why do you think you guys are fighting? One, that you guys are just maybe impatient with each other. There is just a sense of frustration and annoyance within you, just by virtue of not really being in the same proximity with each other. Second, if you guys are fighting over and over and over, think about why you are fighting. What is it that you guys are fighting about? That's very important, right? If the issues are varying and if the issues are something that is very silly, you have to use and put on your thinking cap here. You have to use a sense of balance and maturity here. It is very easy for me to just tell you to burn the bridge, or very easy for me to tell you, hey, just shove it under the pillow and move on. But as a balanced and mature counselor, I have to address all aspects of what you have written to me. So, my first question to you, Preeti, is be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what is it that you guys are fighting about? Are you at fault? And be very, very honest with yourself and listen to the first answer that you receive. Don't give your mind an option to think and justify it. Just ask yourself, okay, am I the reason that we are fighting? Yes or no. It needs to be an instant answer. Okay. Can I help to make our relationship better? Yes or no. Is something that I am doing that is causing this kind of miscommunication between us? Is it something that I am doing that is causing miscommunication? Yes or no. Your instinct never lies. So the answer needs to be instantaneous. And if the answer to any of those questions is yes, that is, you have control over what is happening in that relationship, and if that relationship means to you, which means that is it a healthy relationship? Are you happy in that relationship? Do you see a future in that relationship? How long have you guys been together? If all of those points are a yes, if the relationship is positive and healthy, then what I am describing to you will make sense, and I would urge you to use those techniques to figure out how you can uh, make the relationship better and healthier with that person. However, if your relationship is one that is unhealthy, if you feel your relationship is one where you guys are jarring against each other, you mentioned that we are different people but emotionally very connected. Now that could mean very, very different things, right? You could have come from a place of being emotional when you're writing to me, or you could have come to me from a place of being practical. And unless and until you are in front of me and I am seeing you, it is very difficult for me to assess the place from which you have come to me. But going forward, what I do want to tell you, Preeti, is that if the differences that you mentioned between you and your partner at this point are such that it is causing you unhappiness, it is causing you grief, it is causing you frustration that is out of the lockdown situation, like I just described earlier, then those are signs that maybe the relationship is not right for you. Maybe this person that you're having a problem with is someone that needs to be looked into another time to figure out whether you really want to be with this relationship or not. If that is the case, then take stock of your relationship again, right? If you guys are different, like you said, ask yourself why and how are we different? Why and how am I different from this person? And what is the consequence of these differences? See, in a relationship, sometimes people are different, and that is how you complement each other. And there are many, many successful relationships that work that way. However, that said, there are also relationships where there is a large overlap between the likes and dislikes of the couple, and that works for them. It really depends on your personality, the kind of expectations that you have from that relationship, and the kind of expectations that together as a couple you have from each other. You also mentioned that you have tried to break off with him twice before, and you have nonetheless stuck on because of emotions. So, my question to you is, why are you still with him? Are you with him because you want to be with him? Or are you with him because he wants to be with you? Or there is a third alternative. Are you with him just for the want of feeling wanted? Which means that you as a person are insecure, and when you are with him and you love that attention that he is giving you, it boosts your self-esteem, and it elevates your self-worth, and it makes you feel good about yourself. If you are using his attention to validate who you are, and that is the reason that you're in this relationship, then I think you and me need to have a conversation. Because just with that, we have gotten into a little bit of a deep hole where your mental wellness needs to be addressed. Our motivation and need to be in a relationship needs to be very balanced. Only and only then can the relationship survive the tides of time, and the couple together can grow and mature as one unit, which is important and imperative. You tell me that it is the best thing that we should end it, but still you are unable to end it. You're saying the emotions are getting the better of us, and then you just told me we've had another big fight, and you have also gone on to tell me that he just doesn't get me. There is a lot of contradiction in what you're telling me, but I understand it. I am not blaming you, Priti. I know you're coming to me from a place of emotions. I know you're coming to me with a place of frustration. And I know how emotionally wound you would have been when you wrote this to me. I get that when I read it. So I understand it, and I understand it quite well. Uh, but I cannot answer that tough question for you, which is whether you should continue to be in a relationship with him or you need to get out of that relationship. There is a lot of factors that go in before we can determine that. There is a lot of and I need to understand before I give you an answer, what is it that you want? Because if you are in love with him and I tell you on air that, you know what, leave him, I think you're right, I think your assessment is correct, you will, if not handled well, if you don't have the courage and the stability to do that, you can corner yourself into maybe even, you know, sadness and depression if this is not done right. So really I cannot uh, give you a simple cookie cutter answer to this. All I am telling you is, again, to summarize, Preeti, ask yourself if you're responsible in some way for the misunderstanding that is happening between the two of you. If you are, please try and fix it. Two, if you guys are different, ask yourself what are the differences. Three, ask yourself if those differences are something that will make a difference long term. If it impacts your ability to stay together, and most importantly, does it impact your ability to stay happy together? If the answer to either of this question is yes, that your differences are so much that it will impact your ability to stay together and stay happy long term, then it means that the instinct and the demon that you're fighting with is actually right, and you're just having trouble letting go because whether you like it or not, this person, this partner has become a habit in your life. And when anything becomes a habit in your life, you do develop a sense of addiction to that person. And when anything is an addiction, of course, letting go is difficult. Of course, letting go is troublesome. So, if that is the case, my friend, and you know that he is absolutely not the right person for you, and there is no future in it for you together, and that you are too emotionally vested to not have the courage to get out of it by yourself, then please reach out, go reach your counselor, because now you are still strong enough and have the courage and the mindset to come out of it. It is better that you come out of it now rather than going into it for a few more years and then deciding to come out. Whatever be the case, think about it, and if you need help, you know where to reach me. The third question to you is, okay, Ashish requested to come live in with me, and I just let him in. All right. The third question that I have is, um, I live in a joint family. Uh, Things were great when I was working. Hey, hi, Ashish. Things were great when I was working in the office. My mother in law was very helpful and took care of my little boy and the food. Work has become hectic. So, work uh, work has become hectic, so my work hours have increased, but I am not getting the same support. It is very frustrating. From Anuja. Okay, hi Anuja. Thank you so much for writing in. I completely appreciate you doing that. Um, all right, what can we do? This is what I would suggest. See, Anuja, when prior to the lockdown, you have to remember, prior to the lockdown, there was a routine in the house. There was even house help that was there. Your in laws, especially your mother in law, which is whom you are talking about, was stepping out. She was getting a break. She was meeting her friends. She was perhaps meeting family. If I don't know where you guys live, but there was definitely people that she was connected with, meeting whom she was getting that break and that sense of happiness and the sense of well being by being around them. And once she was doing that, it also gave her mentally and physically a break from the household and the chores, which meant that once she came back home, she was in a better place mentally to provide for you, to provide for you in a way that you mentioned, by looking after the grandchild, by putting food on the table. You are blessed, Anuja, that you have a mother in law who is actually doing all that for you and supporting you. I am not taking anything from you. I am not judging you. I am completely acknowledging your frustration and the place that you're coming from. But again, like I always say, I cannot take an isolated view, because as a counselor, it is my job to give you a perspective that is balanced and mature. That is of utmost importance. But I also need to do it in a way that, uh, where counseling is concerned, that helps you, since we're not getting into therapy in these live sessions. So, coming back, this is a tough time for everyone. You have to realize that. But the silver lining here is you, Anuja. You are working. You are in touch with the people at work. There is connections in place. You have a purpose. There is something that is driving you. What about your in-laws at home? They are perhaps completely shut out from the outside world. Given that they are elderly, maybe they are completely in lockdown where they've not even left home. If that is the case, just I want you to think, and think about it with an open mind. Step back. Accept that yes, you are frustrated, yes, you are in a bad place, but really, if you can, just step back and really get into the shoes that your in laws are in, and understand from their perspective how debilitating it is to be locked down and stay indoors, and how it is really affecting their mental and emotional state. My solution to you, if you want them to come back and help you, is this. Once you are done with your work, in your free time, go talk to them, especially your mother in law. What you are unable to see here, which I am reading in between the line, is that your mother in law needs help. She is not in a mentally and emotionally balanced state, and that is the reason why that she is unable to help around the house. While it is easy to complain and see what you're not getting, I want you to see from her perspective and do the job as a daughter, which is to reach out to her, to hold her hand and understand where she's coming from. Make her feel secure once again. Give her a sense of purpose. Help her understand the situation better. Give them things to do around the house. Help them do activities that give her happiness. It is your job as an adult to make sure that you find things for them that makes them feel more balanced about this entire situation and can actually make them feel happy. She is unhappy right now. The moment you make her feel happy, she is going to gladly, and I am telling you, gladly go all out to again put food on the table and help you with your son. She is asking for your help, and I think you need to give her that help. Even if you do it for a selfish reason of maybe getting help yourself, whatever the reason is, the first thing that I want you to do is reach out to her, and reach out to her with patience and tolerance. That is a must. The other thing that I want to talk about is, see, when everyone is locked down, including you, it is very common for cabin fever to set in, right? And when cabin fever sets in, people are frustrated, people are annoyed, there is impatience floating around in the house, there is intolerance floating around in the house, and I can even pick some of that emotion in the question and the way you have written to me. No, I am not judging you. I understand. I am using the word cabin fever, and I am the one who is acknowledging your frustration and your annoyance and your irritability and your intolerance, and I'm telling you it's okay. I get it, I understand it, and you are not alone. There are so many people who are feeling the way you are, but we have to figure out a way to get past this, just like you would take the role of leadership at work to to work at a challenge, to figure out a challenge, to get past it in a mature fashion, in a planned and organized way. I want you to address this issue at home just that, like a challenge, and you need to come out stronger as a leader, my friend, because once you come out as a leader, it makes you a far better person. So, uh, feel better emotionally first, make her feel better emotionally. And once you guys start connecting to each other at an emotional level, then very soon your house will come back to its happy state that it was in. I hope this works for you. And if things go up or down, you know where to reach me. My next question is, I teach sports in an international school. Given everything is online now, there is not much to be done. I am demotivated to take the class. The kids don't seem to cooperate too. It's making me depressed. Please help. Anonymous. Okay, first things first. Thank you so much for reaching out, right? I completely appreciate, and I know the kind of prejudice that you would have faced, especially, I, the variables that you have mentioned. I can understand the kind of courage that it would have taken from you to reach out to me. So for that, I am very, very grateful that you are trusting me and giving me a chance to help you out. The first thing that I want to tell you is, let's figure out what's happening with you in your personal life. Because you mentioned something that is troubling for me. You mentioned the word that it is making me depressed. My first clue. Second clue, you use the word please help. That is giving me a sign and a clue of you being helpless, of you being sad, and of you being disappointed and letting go of yourself. That's not all right. So, mister, first thing first, why are you feeling low? Ask yourself, come on, you're a sports teacher. You can do better than that. I want you to ask yourself, go in front of the mirror, feel good, have a bath, first wear, take a shower, wear good clothes, look really good, so that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you surprise yourself, you stun yourself, you amaze yourself. I want you to look the best you can. Do that and stand in front of the mirror, because once you do that, the first thing that will do is send a sense of positive hormones in your body, which will make you feel good about yourself, and it will help you feel a little more positive in life. Second thing that I want you to do is then ask yourself, all right, who are my friends? What can I do? Then, while you're looking at yourself in the mirror, while you're feeling confident and feeling good about yourself, I want you to talk to yourself and mention three friends that you can get in touch with immediately. Next, I want you to call those friends. In that same frame of mind, as you're feeling positive, as you're feeling good about yourself, go ahead, keep looking at yourself in the mirror, and I want you to call them. Have a conversation with them. Laugh your guts out. Talk silly, talk naughty, reminisce about the time prior to lockdown. It doesn't matter. It is completely irrelevant. Do what is normal for you, do what is natural for you, but have that conversation. If you do not want to have it back to back, you can call each of them at a separate time, maybe even on separate days, but have that conversation. And once you are done with that conversation, once you hang up, put a mental note in your mind how good that felt. It felt amazing to be able to talk to someone, to be able to laugh with someone, to be able to bond and connect with someone. Remember that memory, hold on to it, and feed it in your mind. That will push you to connect in future and take you away from this sadness that is setting in your life. Next, what I want you to do is a routine, right? Discipline is important. And I don't mean discipline of running your entire life in a timetable. I know you're a teacher, I know you're a sports teacher, and you would have had a sense of discipline in your life, but that is not what I'm asking you to do right now. What I'm asking you to do right now is have a sense of routine. Once there is a sense of routine in your life, which it will make you feel good and it'll give you a sense of purpose. I want you to find that purpose, even if that purpose is short lived. Okay, my purpose right now is to uh, is hygiene, is to clean myself, have a bath, brush your teeth, do all of that. Second, my purpose now is to enjoy my breakfast and cook myself a fantastic meal. Do that. Find your purpose, even if it's short lived, but whatever you're doing, enjoy it. I want you to feel happy about doing that. And the moment you call it a purpose, you're giving yourself a challenge, and then you are achieving it, dopamine gets released. And when dopamine gets released, that is your reward hormone. You will feel good about yourself. And I'm telling you and giving you ways that are natural to help you feel better about yourself and to put you in a positive frame of mind. Third, give yourself another task. Okay, my purpose in the evening is to exercise and to feel good. Go ahead and do that. You are a sports teacher, you know so many exercises. Just switch on the music, stand in front of the computer, do what you need in front of the mirror, and just start exercising. When you are exercising, again, endorphins, adrenaline is getting released, and those are the fantastic good hormones that you need to feel good about yourself. Remember, 15 minutes of running or 1 hour of walking every day actually keeps those negative thoughts and sadness at bay. And you, my friend, are used to a routine with a lot more physical exercise given who you are, given your profession. So maybe it's time to buck that up and get that back in your life. The next thing that I want you to do is find a sense of self worth. What I mean by that is challenge yourself to upskill yourself. This is the time you are free. There is enough time, there is opportunity. Find a skill, find something that you want to learn, maybe a hobby. And it doesn't necessarily have to be upskill yourself in a professional way. It could be a hobby. Maybe you want to cook. Maybe you enjoy cooking. Maybe you want to paint. Maybe you want to talk. Maybe you want to write. Maybe you want to do something that is creative. I don't know the answer. But whatever it is, challenge yourself. Give yourself a challenge. Ask yourself, hey, you know what? I have the time. Let's try and do this. Think about it how you would challenge a child in your school. You do that all the time. You are very well aware of the benefits of challenges and rewards. Put yourself in that mindset. I know you can do it. I know there is that emotion, that bravado, that sense of fulfillment there within you. I know that. I am very sure about that. Come on, find it. Give yourself a task and then go achieve that task. The last thing that I want you to do is um, just reset your expectation. That is very important, because the other thing that you told me is that it is very demotivating to take class when the children are not cooperating. Keep in mind, you are not alone. Keep in mind, this is happening with everybody and all the teachers all around the world right now. So what do? I want you to reset your expectation. If your bar of perfection, especially as a sports teacher, is so high, I want you to bring that bar down. It's not difficult to do that. It is called being mature. It is called as being practical. Come on, you can do it. I know you can do it. So reset your expectation. And in fact, when you are talking with the children and taking their class, have fun at it. While you're giving them exercises, do it yourself. You know, 50% of the time, children will actually learn and ape the teacher. So even though they are not doing it when you're asking them to do it, but the moment you start doing it, my friend, see how many of them actually get in line. Try that trick and get back to me and tell me how that worked. I am sure you will be successful at it. Do it for yourself, have fun, enjoy doing what you're doing. And if nothing else works, if this feeling of sadness, if this feelings of helplessness remains in your system, even after having done all of this, please do it for the next 3 to 4 days. If you are still feeling consistently sad, upset, demotivated, frustrated, the emotion is not important. But if that feeling is consistent, uh, please reach out to me. I think it'll be good for us to have a conversation at that point. Don't feel bad about yourself. Don't second guess yourself. No, you're not weak. Talking to me, even if you do a one on one counseling session, does not mean that you are weak. It is all about protecting you and making sure that you remain and stay the strong person and keep the bravado in you intact. That is the only reason and the only purpose to have that conversation. So, again, I want you to really listen to this. If the feeling is consistent and it does not go away, please reach out. Even if you don't want to reach out to me, it is all right. Just reach out to a counselor and talk to them. I request you to do that. We are already running out of time. I had a last question. Let me quickly try and get that. Um, the question is from Padma. She says, my son is struggling with focus retention and not thriving with online learning. What can I do? All right, that's a good question, Padma. This is what I would tell you. See, first thing first, I want you to figure out and find out and answer honestly whether this retention was an issue that was there prior to the lockdown. So, I want you to pay attention to your son and see if he is able to maintain his focus when he's doing other activities. Doesn't matter what it is. And I want you to get a good enough data sampling. What that means is pay attention to him when he's perhaps reading a book. Pay attention to him when he's listening to music. Is he actually involved in it? Pay attention to him when he's watching TV. Pay attention to him when you're having a conversation with him. Pay attention to him when he's eating. Pay attention to him when he's talking to his friends or playing or busy with self play. I want you to take a diary, make columns, and really jot down his attention level in each of those categories. There is nothing to worry here. It is just something that I want you to be observant about. And you're doing it for your child, right? So it's quite all right to do that. If this can benefit your child, wouldn't you want to do it? Yes, right? That is our responsibility as a parent. Our responsibility as a parent is to be with them, for them, and make them the best version of themselves. And this is what you're doing. So, the first thing that I want you to do is to maintain this diary. Second, if he is able to retain his attention for about 75% of that data sampling, for about three-fourths of those activities that he's doing, the next thing I want you to do for him is go and talk to him. Ask him, quite frankly, that, hey, sweetie, what's happening? Why is it that you are unable to focus in class? Right? Now, typically, if everything is fine, the reasons could be two, right? The really two very basic reason. One, either he's not being challenged enough, which means that he knows what the teacher is already teaching him. He's aware of what is happening. If that is the case, and if he's not being challenged enough, then but naturally he is not invested in listening to what the teacher is saying because he already knows all of that. The second option is that he is feeling overwhelmed, which means that what the teacher is teaching in class is something that is not resonating with him. He's unable to understand it. It is overwhelming him. And if something is overwhelming you, what do? You shut yourself. You close the windows of your ears, you close the windows of your mind, and if possible, you even close the windows of your eyes. And when the windows and doors, when the shutters are down, can anything go in? It can't. It's not possible. So you have to then figure out, Padma, what uh, is the reason as to why your son is or does not want to pay attention. See, if he is able to retain focus, if you establish that he is able to retain focus, but is not doing that specifically, consciously, while he is in an online class, then obviously there is something, and he's making that decision in a conscious fashion. And that is what we're trying to address by asking him this, that is he not being challenged enough, or is the portion what the teacher is teaching him, is that overwhelming him? And if that is overwhelming him, then what you need to do is very apparent. Sit with him, teach with him if he's in a younger class, help him come up to speed with what the teacher is doing, so that the next time when the teacher is teaching something, he is not feeling left out, he is not feeling overwhelmed. And if you cannot teach him yourself, take the help of a tutor, maybe even reach out to the school, reach out to the teacher, do whatever needs to be done to make sure that your child is at some level at par with what is being done. It is very, very important. If you ignore this right now as a parent, that child will develop a complex and a limiting belief that will really damage and hamper his adulthood, and we don't want to do that. If the other thing is true, where he is already ahead of the class and knows what is being done, then once again, either bring in a tutor who could teach him some higher level thinking and higher level sums, reach out to the school, reach out to the teachers, and ask them to challenge him in a way that keeps his curiosity and his motivation intact enough to be able to listen to the lecture. I think the solution is pretty apparent and simple. If you find that there is an issue with the child, then I would request you to go see a child psychologist and get him looked at, because that would really be the first and the most important thing to do. With this, we come to an end with the question, and my voice is already gone because I've been talking for such a long time. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in and listening to me. All you folks that are live out there, go ahead and share the video, like the video, comment on it. And for those people who are seeing this video recorded at a later stage, if you have a question that you would like for me to answer, leave me a question and I will answer it and get back to you, even if it is in the comment section, if it is something that is basic enough and you don't mind asking me in the comment section. If not, you can reach out to me on my Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, or even the YouTube channel. So these are the ways that you can reach out to me. Until my next episode next Thursday, sayonara for now. Good night. Thank you so much. Bye bye.